Hey everybody, Astromommy here. So this is actually just a test run. I don't have the best video equipment set up, but I wanted to test out this microphone. So I'm going to share with you guys a horary chart that I just used to find my little microphone because it was lost. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and show you guys the horary chart that I cast to find this little microphone. And where we found it and how the horary chart said where it was and how it ended up being there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And there we go. Okay. All right, this is so exciting. I don't know if you guys know, whoever's watching, I don't know if you know what a horary chart is, but a horary chart is sort of a divination, a divinatory astrological chart that you can cast for the moment that a question is asked, and it will answer the question through the chart. And this is so exciting. So you can ask questions like the one that I asked, where's Mike's microphone? Or you can ask questions like, am I going to get the job? Or are we going to move next year? Or, does he love me? Things like that. You can ask yes or no questions or things that have, actual concrete answers. And then the chart will tell you the answer. It is the coolest form of astrology. I love it so much. And so this is what happened. Okay, so this little microphone, these little clip-on microphones, my husband and I, we have been looking for this little microphone for a few weeks. He keeps it in a little Altoid tin, right? And I asked him for it a few weeks ago so that I could possibly make a Zoom video with the little, this little thing that we're doing here, the share screen video. And I needed a better microphone because the microphone that is built into my laptop sucks. So he said, sure. And he gave me the tin. But then I was pretty sure that I gave it back to him. But he thought that I had kept it. So then I couldn't find it. And I was looking all over and all the different places that I would have put it. And I said, honey, I don't think I have it. And he looked in all his places and he couldn't find it in the places that he thought that he would have put it back and where it actually lives. And so we were like dumbfounded. We were like, well, where the heck is the little tin with the little clip-on microphone? This is so ridiculous. And we couldn't find it. So finally yesterday, I cast this chart. I said, all right, I need help. Where is Mike's microphone? So I cast this chart. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring up my program for my little pointer pen thingy. And there we go. You guys are going to have to bear with me because I am not the best at these video things. We're going to get this all figured out, and eventually I'm going to be making awesome astrology videos. But for now, we're stuck with me learning on the fly. Okay, so this is how you read this chart, and this is how it found the microphone. All right, so let me get a little pointer here. Okay, so when you cast a horary chart, it really depends on the question. So far, and I am a total beginner at this, I have pretty much taught myself how to read horary charts, and I am in line to be able to be going to a class coming up next year to actually learn horary from an instructor who actually uses the book that I have already read to teach myself. He uses this book, the Horary textbook by John Frawley, as one of his textbooks in the class. So right now I am taking that teacher's first year Hellenistic astrology course. His name's Achyuta Bhavadas, and he's awesome. And then once you take that course, then you can take the horary course. So that is my intention. I love this type of astrology. Okay, but I am having success reading horary charts already for the simple ones, and I am loving it. Okay, so this is what you do. So first, I cast the chart and I asked the question about where my husband's microphone was. So the first thing that I needed to do was find my husband on the chart. Now, the person asking the question is represented here by the ascendant ruler, which is Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. So this is where I am in the chart. And let me go ahead and, let's see, here we go, some lines. Okay, so this part is me here. Now, across from the ascendant ruler, which is the person asking the question, is the husband, the partner, the other person, or the person that you're, it represents any other person, or the marriage partner, or the spouse, or any person that the person's doing business with. So the descendant ruler over here is going to be Mercury, which rules this sign of Gemini. So my husband is actually up here in the chart. Okay, so first I had to find my husband. So I found my husband. Then I need to find his possessions. Well, his possessions are the second from the first. The second from the first represents the possessions of the first person, the person that is ruled by the first house. And so what I'm kind of doing in my mind is turning the chart and making this the ascendant ruler in my mind. So now I'm going from as if my husband was the ascendant. So his second house is going to be here, Cancer, which is ruled by the moon, which is up here in the 9th house. And also, so that's going to represent his microphone. And also the moon represents lost items in general. So if you're looking for something in a chart, the moon is the co-significator of that lost item. Okay, as well as the co-significator of the querent as well, but we don't need to get into all the technical details. Okay, so, all right, so now looking at this, now I look to see, well, what house is the moon in, and what's going on with the moon, so that I can try to figure out where this microphone is. So the moon is up here in the 9th house. And this is the 9th house of, my 9th house, but this is actually my husband's 3rd house. So we count 1, 2, 3. This is the ruler. This is the cusp of the 3rd house. So this house here is actually my husband's 3rd house. And it is ruled here by Leo, which is ruled by the sun, which means, and the sun is right next to the moon. All right, so what this meant to me, and the moon is in Virgo. So now I put all these pieces together. The 3rd house is going to represent somebody's office space, or a place of learning, or a place for communications, a communication hub, or something like that. And since the moon was down here right by the 4th house cusp, I knew that it was going to be, which would be at the bottom of the chart if I were to flip this around and have my husband over here at the ascendant. And forgive me, I don't know exactly how you would read a horary chart to a client. So I'm just telling you guys how I figured this out. Okay, so I knew that it was going to be in his office space. And I knew that it was going to be down in the 4th house, which represents the basement, the cellar, or something towards the ground, because it's at the bottom of the chart. So coincidentally, my husband's office space is in our basement. So this made perfect sense. And then, since the ruler of that 3rd house for his office space is the sun, and the sun is right next to the moon, and the moon is combust. If I take away this little circle, you will see the moon is right next to the sun, only 5 degrees, which is combust. Within 8 degrees, as far as I know, is considered combust, which means you can't see it. It's being obscured by the sun. And the sun is the ruler of his office space. So I said, okay, honey, what if I gave it back to you? If I gave it back to you, would you at all have put it in your desk? Because the horary is saying that it is downstairs in your office space, and it is being obscured by something, which means it's like in a drawer or in a cubby or under something. It's hidden in some way, because you can't see the moon when it is next to the sun like this. It's going to be dark. This is right after a new moon, and it hasn't had enough, it hasn't traveled enough degrees away from the sun for it to start showing the reflection of the sun anymore, so you can't see the moon still. So, and so I said, could you just humor me and just go downstairs? and look in your desk and see if you can find it, because, you know, what do we got to lose, right? So he went downstairs and he came back up with the little tin with the microphone in it. And I said, oh my God, was it in your desk? And he said, yeah. And I said, was it in a drawer or something? He said, it was in a cubby inside my desk. And I was like, oh my goodness, that is so exciting. So the horary totally was correct, exactly. And we found it exactly where it said it would be. And what is also really fun is that to figure out how long from when I cast the chart to when we would find it, you look at how many degrees away and what the signs are that the item and my husband's significator, the planet that signifies my husband, are away from each other in order to figure out how long. So my husband's significator is Mercury, right? And the moon is his possession. So if we look here, the moon is at 9 degrees Virgo, and it's in a mutable sign, a double-bodied sign, which means that the timing is going to be quick. We're going to find it soon. And my husband's sign is right here, or planet, is right here in the sign of Libra at 1 degree Libra. Now, what that told me was, okay, not only is it, we've got 12 degrees in between here. No, 22 degrees, right? We've got 21 degrees until we get to Libra, plus 1 more degree, 22 degrees. Now, this is so awesome. Okay, so 22 degrees. I miscounted it earlier. I thought it said 12. No, 22. That is even more perfect. Okay, 22 degrees. So this is, what this signifies to me is about 22 hours, which is basically the next day. Okay, within a day, we're going to find it. And that's what I was thinking when I was looking at this chart. And when he came back up, I was like, oh my God, I just figured out the timing. It said we were going to find it within a day. And I looked at the clock and it was 1:30 today. And I cast this chart. You can see right over here, I cast this chart at 2:09 p.m. And we found the mini microphone at 1:30 p.m. the next day, within 24 hours. Now, I don't know, that's not, yeah, 22 hours to 24 hours. I guess it was about 23 and a half hours. That is so awesome. Like, I just think that that is amazing. So this is my fun video. I'm testing out my microphone. I'm testing out doing this little Zoom thing, sharing my screen. I hope you guys, you know, and I'm sharing this horary. I hope you guys found this interesting and entertaining and enlightening. And if you are interested in a horary chart, then I do offer discounted, very, very discounted horary charts, because I'm learning and I do not know everything, but I have been having a lot of success with simple questions. So if you have a simple question like, where's my mini microphone? Then I would love to cast that for you. I charge $10. You can find it by going to the link tree in the description box of this video, clicking on the link tree where it says book a session or cast a horary or whatever it says, and then choosing a horary chart. You type in your question, you let me know your question, and then I will tell you the answer based on the horary chart to the best of my knowledge. And then, since this is new to me, what I would love from you is feedback. Feedback, you know, did the thing that we predict would happen, and or did it not? Because I'm still learning, and I would like to collect feedback so that I can write it in the notes so that I can continue to learn. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you watching this video. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.